Fully vaccinated but helpless. That's how Melbourne father Don Barber feels as his son lies in Townsville Hospital after an horrific motocross accident.
And despite following all the right protocols, Don's been told the only way he can be by his son's bedside is to fly to Brisbane and complete 14 days of hotel quarantine. Don joins us now from Langdon in Victoria. Don, we are so sorry that you're in this situation. We know your son spent the last 11 days in a coma and is only now regaining some form of consciousness. Can you tell us how is he this morning?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Look, how it all started was last Sunday week. I received a phone call, and it was involving my son who'd been in the motocross accident, and all I got told at this stage was that your son's been in a horrific accident. He's unconscious, and they put a tube down his mouth, and we're airlifting him to Townsville Hospital. Oh God, my God! So then, from there, they took there, and I was ringing Townsville Hospital. He hadn't arrived yet, and they suggested just wait an hour, and I waited an hour, and then by then they'd put him through his scans and that. Then I spoke to the doctor, and they said, oh, he's had a little bit of a minor brain bleed. But then, about an hour later, they've rushed him into the ER. They're drilling a hole in the back of his head to relieve the blood and the pressure on his brain. But then he's also had his eye fractured, and they've had to drill a hole in the back of his eye to relieve the blood out of his eye so that he won't lose the sight in his eye, maybe. And then from there, he's just been heavily sedated, in a coma, just waiting there. But in that time, I thought, okay, I've got to get up there. Our COVID numbers were low, and I'm thinking to me, like, this is when we had like 4, 2, 1, and then eventually 0, and I'm thinking I'm going to get up there straight away. So my sister was very helpful, and she gave me the link to the Queensland Health. I went through all the hoops and filling out all the paperwork, emails, and sent them through. I've been fully vaccinated. I was fully vaccinated in March. I went and had a COVID test which came back negative, and I was ready to go. I thought I'd be flying out within 2 days. And they said then, oh, sorry, you've got to quarantine for 14 days in Brisbane or Cairns. And that was another 14 days, but they had COVID themselves. So where's that going to get me?
Here's the thing,
it was ridiculous.
This is so awful, and these are the things that are going to have to open up, because people like you are doing the right thing. The special circumstances, not being able to see your son. I mean, how frustrating and how angry. What sort of emotions are you going through while you're waiting for that?
Oh well, for the first week, I don't think I could be standing here doing this conversation now. He was lucky his mother was there, and his brother Ross was there, and they were at that time they couldn't speak to me properly because their emotions were running very high. So I was sort of getting very, very limited phone calls from the hospital at that time. So I was willing to try anything at that stage to get there. And I still am. It's just ridiculous. Like, I'm doing everything right. I've even been isolating at home for the last 14 days and going to get COVID tested. So in case they look at this exemption and say, okay, Don, you can go. I need to go to Townsville Hospital. I don't need to go to Cairns. I don't need to go to Brisbane. I want to go to Townsville Hospital. And I want to go and see my son. So, look, they've taken him off the medication on his coma now, and he's unresponsive still. But geez, I think his dad should be there to when he comes out of it, some faces he may recognise.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one, you know.
Don, I mean, we couldn't agree with you more for you to be up there. Look, we actually contacted Queensland Health about your situation. Their response was, we will always consider end-of-life situations, and if a person's condition deteriorates or becomes end-of-life, then visits may be reconsidered. How do you feel hearing that?
Well, what about mental health issues with people? Like, that plays a big part in the game as well. Like, and the support that it needs to for Scott's mother, who's up there. She's also a carer for her own mother, and she's stuck in Townsville, and she's on her own in Cairns, and she can't get back there. It's just that friends are going around there to see how she is. there's a bigger picture to this, and really when you think about it, when they say they look at every case individually, well, really are they? Because I live in a place in Langwarren. These infectious diseases are on the other side of town, which is like an hour and a half away, and I'm thinking that's not right.
It stinks.
Like, there should be another. It does, and I've been vaccinated, so instead of just sitting behind there on a computer going, oh no, he lives in Victoria, you can't go anywhere. It's
my man.
Really,
look, we feel your pain, and it's only we don't feel all of it, obviously. But Don, let us keep making representations for you. We appreciate your time today, and all the very best with it.
Thanks for hearing my story too. Thank you very much. You know, and I'm not going to give up either.
No.
In the end, if I've got to go, I've got to go.
Yeah.
And so, but that's it. You know. So,
All right,
but anyway,
mate.
thank you again. Thank you very much.
And look, I think that we're getting to a point now where the government's trying to get us all to have vaccinations. And if you've had the vaccination and you've had the tests, then you should be able to do any of that.
But I mean, that comes down to a point of, it gets to a point where it's just common sense and showing a bit of compassion. And, you know, those two working together, he should be up there with his family and with his son right now.
I agree with you.